Welcome back into hour number 2 of Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage, as we come back here on this Wednesday. And hey, this next segment, Elmer's stopping by. We're talking some Packers. This next segment is brought to you by Badger Tree Care, the local tree care company for tree removal, tree trimming, pruning, full cleanup, small lot clearing, storm cleanup. They do it all. Call Trevor down there, 715-937-3276. That is 715-937-3276. 3276. Call them. They do fantastic work. Check them out on Facebook. They have a lot of pictures of the stuff they do on Facebook. They're fantastic. Check them out. Trevor Bart there at Badger Tree Care. So, Ummer is here tonight. Ummer, I hope you're doing better than the Brewers. I hope you're doing better than the Brewers. Tell me you're doing better this week than the Brewers are. It doesn't take much, actually. You just have to basically show a pulse, and you're doing better than
I think minus my work being kind of crazy, I think I'm doing pretty good though. Not complaining though.
Better than the Brewers.
I feel for you guys right now. I feel for you guys right now.
Oh man, it's just Wisconsin sports, man. At this point here, I'm gonna be upset. I'm gonna be sad. I'm gonna be irate, and then I'm gonna come to the realization that this team was never supposed to do what they already did. So, I mean, at this point here, they're playing with house money, as we know, and as they do, and they've done a lot this year with what they've had. So, I mean, I'm going to come to that realization at some point. Right now, I'm going to have a lot of heartbreak and madness. And if they do lose this series, I'm going to be mowing my lawn at like 10 o'clock at night. It's going to be a disaster. I'm just going to be causing chaos in the streets in the middle of Wisconsin here. So anyways, let's get off the Brewers. Let's look at the Packers. There's some good here. The Packers get the win. They get off the schneid. They get back at it. They beat the Bengals 27-18. It was a good win. And let's start there. I just want to ask you that question because there's a lot of people upset. It wasn't a good enough win. Right. That's where we kind of talked about it last week. We kind of hinted at it even in our minds. We're like, it's a 14-point favorites in this one. And we want to see the Packers do that. We want to see the Packers win this game by that. And then I kind of watched it. Right. And I said to myself, man, 27-18. Jordan Love plays pretty good. The offense looks good. The defense, okay. Micah Parsons still isn't playing like Micah Parsons. Lucas Van Ness gets hurt. Zach Tom tells everybody that he blacked out midway through the game from the pain. So that's crazy. We finally saw, and you want to hate that he played, but you finally actually got to see the full offensive line that you were waiting to see on the field at the same time. So I think that was also part of it. Josh Jacobs finally has a good game. So I think there was a lot of good in this game that I took away from it. There was some bad. You can still say there was some bad in this game. We'll talk about the good and the bad. But final outcome of this game, I didn't see it. I didn't feel like it was a bad outcome. I know we wanted them to win by 14 plus. I know that's what we're looking for. But when I look at the final score here, when I look at what we saw in the game, execution was pretty good. Special teams was good. All around. Not saying it was a complete, one of the complete games that we've been waiting to see, complete just dominance. But it was a good game. I thought it was a good win. I thought it was a really good win.
I think we went into it thinking man, this team's, we've been watching them all season look really bad. Cincinnati Bengals have looked like terrible with Browning. They got a new quarterback that's a vet who was able to get the ball out within less than 3 seconds. He was getting them out within 2.13 or something crazy. His release was insane. And I think that we were expecting, the spread was 14.5, so we expected total domination, right? And the truth is, I felt like they had control of the game the whole time. Jordan throws a bonehead pick, and it still doesn't impact them. They did give up some yards and points at the end of the game, but at that point, I felt like the defense was gassed because they gave up a 10-minute drive for the Bengals in the second half. All in all, special teams did play a lot better. The kicker they just signed off the street did his job perfectly. I know you were saying that Micah Parsons probably didn't get on the stat sheet, but if you go back and look, he was extremely disruptive. I know that we as Packer fans are expecting this guy to get 4 sacks a game, right?
Yeah.
But the fact is, when you're looking back and you're literally seeing him being held on almost 90% of the plays, is getting to a point where we're watching the Philadelphia Eagles basically doing a false start every time they do a touch push and not call it. Yep. Same thing with Micah Parsons, right? Every time he's out there and he's rushing, they're holding the daylights out of him. There was some clips that Cheesehead TV and Dusty Everly had put up, and I'm just like, holy crap! This guy is penetrating, and they are just holding him all day. And I don't know what Hafley needs to do to get him on a one-on-one or something to where they don't have a chance to hold him. I don't know, because it's getting ridiculous. And I'm terrified against this Arizona game, not because I'm worried about the Arizona Cardinals, but the referee for this game, Alex Moore, I believe his name is, he is number one in penalties per game, number one in penalties overall, and number one penalties called. Like, he is just a penalty guy all the way through. So maybe we'll finally start getting some holding calls on Micah, because for a guy that, we paid a lot of money to, I feel like he is being disruptive, but the refs need to start calling this game. Just start at least give one. Like, there's plays where he's getting his helmet ripped off, for goodness sake. But with that standing, I think all in all, the Packers played well. The run game started up again. I know that the Bengals defense, this is something to, really shout out about. We felt the same way about the Cowboys defense, right? But we did also say that these games were going to be the get-right games.
Yep.
So I think, and then I hit Arizona's, on a 4-game losing streak, and they have a backup quarterback in there. So, there's going to be some high expectations of us going to Arizona and blowing them out. I'm getting to the point now where I'm not even concerned about a blow up anymore. I just want them to win. As long as they win, I don't even care. It might not be pretty. It may not be domination. As much as I want that, I just want them to win. That's it. And I want them to win by at least 2 scores. So I just feel comfortable. But I just want them to keep. One thing I noticed in this game was they kept dictating on offense. Where I mean, it was like they kept trying to dictate to the point where they're pushing the ball downfield. Golden had a great game, and I feel like they need to continue doing that.
Yeah, no, I'm right with you. The Micah Parsons thing, I guess where I was going, and it's kind of what you said there was, he's being held. He's got all this stuff going on. He's disruptive. I don't want to say that he's not a part of the game. He's very disruptive. He's a big reason why the Packers defense looks good. Just having a guy like him out there. Now Absolutely. It's about him, Hafley, those guys finding ways to get him into the backfield, to show up. I love that he's a behind the scenes guy. I love that. But I want to see him be an in-the-scenes guy now, too. I want to see him be that guy where we saw him in Dallas being a disruptor, yet being a disruptor, getting a sack, getting into the backfield, being that big presence. And I think that's going to come with 2 other guys stepping up.
Exactly.
Because there's a lot of pressure on him to be the guy solely. Now we need a guy like Gary. Now you need some of these other guys. Warren Brinson had a decent game. That was interesting to see. He actually led him in overall defensive grade in the PFF rankings. He was actually number 1 in there. So that was quite interesting. So Warren Brinson had a good game. Maybe that's a guy to step up. But getting guys back, if they get Devontae Wyatt back and you get a guy like that back on the team, that's going to help out a huge amount for this Packers team. So I'm right there with you. There was a lot of good performances in this last game here against the Bengals, and a get-right game. We wanted to see the special teams do good for once, and we saw it.
Kind of did.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was. There was nothing bad to report, right? There was nothing good to report, but there was nothing bad to report. They actually had some good kick returns too. A couple of Savion Williams had a couple good kick returns. They had good kick returns in this one, which is something that they've lacked, I guess you could say, was starting with good field position. And we saw Savion Williams, Bo Melton, both guys, they had longs of 36. Right. Not bad. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. So you like having, good field position to start here if you're the Packers, and that's a step in the right direction, I guess you could say, on the special team side. So love to see that. So let's look deeper into this Packers and Bengals matchup. Were there any, I guess we kind of talked about some performances, but let's start with that offensive side of the football there. Mm-hmm. Was there a performance that stood out to you? Any of these receivers, running back, anything like that, offensive lineman? Was there a performance on the offensive side of the football that stood out to you in this one? Maybe a couple?
I think for me, the biggest thing that the blocking from the offensive line, I know Trey Hendrickson went out with a questionable back injury. Questionable back injury. I say that because me and my boy were joking that he got traded mid-game to the 49ers. but the truth is Hendrickson, for the most part, when he was in there, Slayton has been having a pretty good year too. They didn't really make much noise. There wasn't a lot of pressure on Jordan, and when he did, he was able to escape. I think what we did notice was, he made a mistake, but he did also have a 101 quarterback rating. I think we're noticing how much of a difference it makes when Jordan has his legs to move and actually utilize his ability to be on mobile and scramble, because he got first downs, he bootlegged, he was able to get out of pressure and just maneuver the pocket, as well as just take what was in front of him instead of trying to force things like he did with that pick. I'm going to keep talking about the pick because I was just really, really annoyed about it.
Yeah.
It just reminded me of the Niners game in the playoffs. But he was able to bounce back and play. It was almost like Favre, right? Like he had to get that pick out of the way just so he can get back on track, right? It was like that. But all in all, offensive line blocked well. Jordan played, I think, for the most part, pretty well. And Jacobs. We just saw Jacobs, I heard, had a flu game. He was very sick. He was throwing up. He wasn't feeling well. And he even was quoted saying to one of his friends, I think one of his kids, I expect to have a 2-touchdown, 150-yard game. That's exactly what he did.
Yeah, it was a dominant performance not a dominant, but the offensive line looked fantastic, like you're saying.
Yeah.
And it was something that we've been waiting to see, especially get the run game going and
Since
get Josh Jacobs going. Yep. And we finally saw it in this game. So like we just mentioned before there, get right games, getting it going in the right direction. And I completely agree with the Jordan Love thing because it's like you look outside of that interception, 19 for 26, 1 touchdown. It was a solid game. Like you look at the rating and everything was good. He had a 101 rating. He was good. The QBR's at 82. It's like a solid game performance, but it's like you just can't not have one bad mistake. You like,
if Burrow was there,
he has to do it. He has to do it. It's like he has to. He has to give us something to say at the end of the day. Like, you had a great game, except for this. You look at the Dallas game. It's like he had a fantastic game. Went toe to toe with a guy who could win the MVP right now. If you had to talk MVP in Dak Prescott, and he would last 30 seconds of that game, you could say, "Wow, he screwed it in that last 30 seconds because he just didn't have that urgency to get his offense going." So there's like it just seems like he has to have that one blunder per game to just make us upset. I don't know why. I don't know why. He can stop.
Begin a game. Begin the game stop.
Get it out of the way. It's just like those silly things. Even if you just get rid of the silly things, man, oh man, this Jordan Love can be a fantastic quarterback. He's just got to get rid of the silly mistakes. He does. That's it. And when I watch him, it's like just the silly things, the silly mistakes like he had against the Lions where he should have thrown a ball away and he tried to flip it and it got picked and it taken to the house. There's just so many silly throws that he made. The 49ers, he was young, during that one, but tried to throw across the field. It wasn't there. He had time. It was, early downs late in the game though. And it was just trying to do too much, right, with the football. So I completely agree with you there. Matthew Golden finally having a breakout game. That's what we wanted to see there. Tucker Kraft with his 2 catches, 43 yards. I expect week after week to keep getting him involved and keep getting him involved more. I think the play action game, they use it a lot. I think they could use it more. I really do. I think they could use it more. I think this is a team, and I guess I want to ask you this. I don't think this team can be 50-50. I think this team needs to be more like 60-40. 60-40, 65-35, whatever you want to say. It needs to be. I know we want to establish the run game. I know they really do, and I want to too. But this pass game is too good. There is too many weapons. There's too many things that you need to utilize in this part of the game. So when I look at it, I'm like, you got to go pass game heavy. I guess, is that crazy? Is that a crazy thought to think that the Packers need to not go away from Josh Jacobs. Just don't try to lean so heavy into him. Try to lean heavier into that pass game. Let Jordan Love be Jordan Love. Let Matt LaFleur draw up some plays because we know he can, especially in play action. He can draw some crazy stuff. Let that be the driving catalyst of this team.
I think we're at a point now where you can say Jordan is doing pretty well considering the fact that his top 2 wide receivers are out right now, Jaden Reed and Christian Watson, and he's still performing and producing well. I think in this game, you saw them get away from their tendencies of like running on second down no matter what or running on first down no matter what. Yep. And I'm 100% with you on that. I think you throw the ball in the beginning, you dominate, you dictate to them, you utilize that because they already know you have Josh Jacobs back there. You know what I'm saying? The threat of the run and the threat of play action is always going to be there. I feel like you force the issue in the beginning and then you use the run game to close out games. But you do it in a way where like it makes sense. And I think maybe LaFleur's been getting too much in his head, or maybe he's doing certain things a certain way to kind of fool people, but definitely had some tendencies that he broke in this game. And I'm with you. He just needs to continue going down that path because maybe Watson's back this week. Maybe he's not. We're hoping that Jaden Reed's going to be back here soon. And I really just feel like when he gets his full assortment of weapons, I want this offense really hitting the ground running when it comes to the pass game.
There's a lot of weapons still like holstered. They haven't even let him out of the cage yet. And, talking about a guy like Jaden Reed and Christian Watson, Marshawn Lloyd coming back there, there is a lot of weaponry still ready to unload here. So I love that there. I love that. Let's look over at the defensive side. Going off this one, defensive side of the football. Is there anyone or any guys that stood out to you on the defensive side of the football we got to be talking about?
I mean, honestly, defensively, you felt like they all were like, there was so much more short tackling in that game, right? More gang tackling, more what we saw week 1 and week 2, more urgency, more go to the ball. I didn't like the fact that, a ball carrier would get like 2 yards and the offensive line would help push for another 6 or 7. That was infuriating me. I felt like our secondary did the best they could. I mean, Joe Flacco was getting that ball out fast. He was literally hitting Jamar Chase on back shoulders at the end of the game like multiple times. I thought Carrington Valentine, he had a great pass breakup, and then he got a touchdown scored on him. That's the life of a corner, right? And he was doing his gritty. He was like our little Jair 2.0. But all in all, with that offense being the way it was, with the weapons they have, I mean, you had a guy that came in there like literally like Tuesday, Wednesday, and was running that offense, right? So defensively, it wasn't like great, but it wasn't bad. I thought Lucas Van Ness had a good sack, but unfortunately got hurt right after that. I'm wondering if we're really missing Devontae Wyatt, but I think you made a comment previously about Brinson and Nazir Stackhouse. I think they both had really good games considering the fact of the multiple snaps that they were playing.
Yeah, no, Brinson led him in PFF, overall PFF in that one. So that was quite interesting because coming into the season, he was actually in like third. He was third on the depth chart in the tackle spot there, or in nose tackle there. So I mean, it's very interesting. Defensive tackle, I should say. Very interesting to see him filling into that spot. And that's actually a guy who got drafted. I mean, you talk about a guy in Nazir Stackhouse who actually beat him out for the second string there, and he wasn't even drafted. He was an undrafted guy coming in. And I mean, that's an interesting dynamic too, if you can get both those guys on the field at the same time there, Stackhouse and Brinson in some kind of package, because you have 2 Georgia guys coming at you, right? Right? Both guys came from Georgia, didn't they? Nazir and
yes, they both
Warren Brinson, both out of Georgia. So, I mean, both play together, too. So, I know that sometimes that chemistry kind of works out there on the defensive front, too. So, let's look ahead. Okay, so wrapping up the Bengals game. There any final thoughts on the Bengals game that you wanted to touch on, or any final thoughts there?
I mean, I feel like this game would have been a completely different game if Joe Burrow was there, 100%.
That'd be a lot better if Joe Burrow.
A lot better, right? But at the end of the day, I think, we went in there, the Packers got a game at home. They went up against a team. They won. I think that, we're expecting like, a 45-10 blowout or something, but that wasn't going to happen. And honestly, if Joe Flacco has a good game on Thursday night, that might be an indication of the fact that we might have just gotten lucky, right? And what I mean by lucky is that Joe Flacco didn't have enough time to really learn the offense, right? And so because of that, because if they go in this Thursday night game and beat Pittsburgh, that'll be interesting to say the least. But I think this is one of those games that you get stack success, right? Yep. We take everything we learned from this game, we take everything we learned from the Dallas Cowboys game, and we use that and we close out this month of October with some good wins. Because Arizona's next, right? Arizona, not a great team, but still they got a lot of weapons there. Marvin Harrison might not play, Kyle Murray might not play, right? Then after that, you got the Steelers. Then eventually what do we got now? We got the Steelers. Then we got the Steelers. Then we got the Panthers, which is like Then we got the Eagles, and then we got the Giants, and then we got the Vikings. And then right there, that gauntlet right there after the Panthers. Even the Panthers are looking pretty good too. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
We have a lot of games coming up that we want to maybe probably hit our stride, not just offensively, but defensively as well too.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Wrapping it all up with what you just said there, building off of these games, looking ahead, building to get to where this team wants to be moving forward there, especially when they get some of the tougher, quote unquote, opponents when they get down this stretch here. The Eagles, teams like that, they might not look as scary as what they may have thought to be, but they're still good opponents on the schedule. The Steelers look good against the Browns, a very good Browns defense. Yeah. The Steelers look pretty good. So, there's a lot of decent opponents left in this Packers schedule. So let's look quickly here before I get let go. Let's look at what we got coming up here. And that is the Arizona Cardinals. Is there anything, like you mentioned there, Kyler Murray might not play, Marvin Harrison might not play. There's a lot of missing pieces for the Cardinals right now. I know his name slipped me, the running back. Bam Knight and Michael Carter. And then, of course, James Conner. And James Conner. Yes, James Conner's out.
Yep.
So, they got a lot of guys out. So, we know the guys that are out here.
Yep.
Is there anything you're looking at in this game you want to see from the Packers we're not going to go through predictions or anything like you tell
No,
me.
no.
You're not much of a prediction guy. But is there anything you want to see from the Packers going into this game against the Cardinals?
I feel like we need to see how we can handle Jacoby Brissett is still a good quarterback. He's a good veteran backup quarterback, right? And he put the Colts. He had the Colts against the wall. Like he almost beat the Colts in that game, right? So I feel like this will be a good test for our defense. Arizona's offensive line is young but susceptible. You can get pressure, so we'll be interested to see how we do that because they have so many missing pieces right now. You have to take advantage of that. On offense for us, I feel like the Packers will need to really establish the run because you can run on Arizona. That's one of Jonathan Gann's deficits when he has on his team, as well as we can finally see, hopefully, Watson come back and see if he will be back for this week or they're going to hold him out one more week, right?
Yeah.
But the thing with the Cardinals are their 0-4 team. I feel like they're better than the record shows. It's just that they just haven't been able to close out games. They just have so many just crazy things happen. So I just want the Packers to find a way to continue what they've been doing, which is play smart football, be consistent on offense, and then try to find ways to get takeovers on defense. They need to. Brissett's going to give you a couple. That's one thing for sure. He's going to give you a couple. And the Packers have no turnovers right now. So they have one turnover in all their games. So we need to find a way to start getting some turnovers.
I don't know if the secondary actually knows where the ball is. I gotta be honest with you. And I watch them out there.
Minus McKinney? I agree.
Yeah, minus McKinney and even him sometimes. They just look lost. The secondary looks lost at times. So that's a story for another time. We'll talk about that. If you guys want more Packer talk, we'll be talking on Coast to Coast Packers coming up later this week. So make sure you guys are checking that out when you got a chance there. So, Ummer, thank you as always for stopping by. Let the people know where to find you out there across social media.
Thank you, man. For always having me. It's always an honor. Going to be always on Twitter at AMAR3455, Coast to Coast Packers across the board for all the social media outlets. And yeah, just looking forward to hopefully be on Thursday night as our plan right now, as long as hopefully the Brewers can come back from this game, or hopefully Thursday night they should make a showing of it. If not, then maybe we'll go. Maybe I got to talk to Trey about that, but we got to try to say. But we might need to go Thursday night because I'm going out of town this weekend, so we got to figure something out.
We'll figure something out. Don't you worry.
Yes, sir.
We'll figure something out there. So make sure you guys are checking them out there. Ummer on X there or wherever on social media. Make sure you guys are checking out Coast to Coast Packers there. Find it YouTube, everything in between. We're going to get it up on all the different sites and everything like that. So make sure you guys are checking out, like, subscribe, follow as always. So make sure you guys are checking them out. Thank you as always, Ummer. We'll be back here after the quick commercial break. We're going to touch into a little Badgers next, I think. I don't know where we're going to get to. We got Kyle coming on later. We got all kinds of stuff to get to. Make sure you're coming back here. Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. We'll be right back. Welcome back into Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage, as we come back here on this Wednesday. And hey, this next segment here, we're going to talk a little Badgers. We're going to have a therapy session about some Badgers here. This next segment is brought to you by Sport and Spine Clinic of Greenwood, Wisconsin. Expert traditional physical therapy and structural integration programming. Call for flexible scheduling and evaluations. Just call Chad down there at Sport and Spine Clinic of Greenwood, Wisconsin. He'll make you right. He'll get you doing whatever you were doing, feeling better than ever. Sport and Spine Clinic of Greenwood, Wisconsin. So we're going to do the Sport and Spine therapy session of the show here, and I only find it fitting that we talk a little Brewers, we talk a little Badgers here in this therapy session. So the Badgers, that game against Iowa stunk. That was bad. That was absolutely terrible to watch. I watched half of it, and then I just solely watched the Brewers because I just had to distance myself from Wisconsin. And then I ended up coming back and watching it after the fact. So it wasn't in live time. I couldn't watch it. So it was ugly. It was ugly. I don't, when I talk about this team right now and everybody, I was asked this question. I was texted this question. If you want to text into the show here, make sure you're doing it. 715-990-4914. That is 715-990-4914. Somebody said, is there more talent than when Paul Chryst was fired? Is there more talent on this team? That was what the question was. Is there more talent? So when Chryst was in Madison, had some good years. In that final year, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't a great start to the year. And Paul Chryst was fired. That team, I believe, had less talent than what they have now. I do. That team was more well-rounded, though. They had an identity. They knew what they wanted to do. They had a little bit more fire. They seemed like they were behind their head coach. They were very upset when their head coach was fired. A lot of those guys were like, this is the guy who brought me in. Jim Leonhard took over. When Jim Leonhard took over, it still felt, I believe, to these guys like, oh, well, we still have our guy here because Jim is still here. So it felt a little bit better for them. But then Jim wasn't good enough. Moved on. Hit the slam dunk home run hire, right? In Luke Fickell. It's gone well to this point. I mean, hindsight being you in that moment, and this is the way I look back at it. I know there's some people are going to say, well, the Luke Fickell, I always said Luke Fickell wasn't a good coach, blah, blah, blah. At the moment, it was a slam dunk hire. Everybody wanted him. Now, was there a reason? I mean, they said that Graham Mertz, everybody wanted Graham Mertz too. So I have no idea. They told me that from what I remember, Alabama wanted Graham Mertz. So if that's the case, I don't know why they wanted Luke Fickell. Luke Fickell came into Madison. I don't think, and this is the way I see it. I don't think the Badgers did their homework on Luke Fickell, and I don't think Luke Fickell did his homework on Wisconsin. Because he tried to change the culture and the Badgers didn't realize that that's what he was going to try and do. That's plain and simple what I see it as. They didn't do homework on each other. And I think that's what got it off to a bad start. Now he's trying to reverse and try to go back, but now it seems like it's already too far gone. You're in this age of the NIL and the transfer portal where it's not like you can just recruit guys and just have them stay around. It's not that way anymore. It's not that Wisconsin, I mean, Wisconsin's a very nice place, a very beautiful campus. I mean, if you're a college kid, you love the party life. That's not whatever. You don't want your athletes. That's the reason why they're coming. But anyway, I mean, you want the college experience for them. And Madison's a great place for it. But right now, it's not. It really isn't because the program is in shambles. And you had guys like Christian Allegro after that game against Iowa, and he's like, this isn't the way, this isn't Wisconsin football. And it's like, no, it is. This is what we've seen for multiple years now. Like, I understand that you're telling me, and I don't believe it's Wisconsin football. It's not. It's not what Christian Allegro wants it to be. It's not what any of these guys want it to be. But that's what it is now. Underneath the Luke Fickell, this is Wisconsin football. Dysfunctional, no identity, nothing. They have no identity. And that's what even some of the players have said. What's wrong with this team? They have no identity. They know it, but it comes from a culture change. It comes from the top. And right now, the way that Luke Fickell's leading this, it's not going to get fixed. It's not. So is there more talent on this team than when Paul Chryst was fired? Is there more talent coming into the university? Yeah, I believe so. I do. I think there's a lot of talent on this football team. I just think it's dysfunctional. There's no identity. There's nothing. They don't know what they're doing out there. Nothing. There's no fight. There's no fire. There's no juice. There's no, I mean, there's just, to me, it looks like the Badgers are a D3 football team going up against a bunch of D1 football teams when you watch them. They don't even look like they're supposed to be on this. It's like a JV versus a varsity squad. It's like vanilla ice cream compared to, I don't know. I'm a big vanilla ice cream fan. It's like vanilla. They're not even vanilla. Like they're not even like basic. I don't even know what they're trying to even accomplish. Like it's just dysfunctional, ugly football all the way around. Doesn't matter what they put in there, who they put in there. And then Hunter Simmons is struggling and you keep him in there. I thought maybe they'd Danny O'Neal would come back in. And then you wonder, okay, is Danny O'Neal hurt more than what they're letting on? Billy Edwards. I am so sick of the narrative that they're like, oh, well, the offensive line's been banged up and then you haven't had your starting quarterback in years. That's fine. That's great. I understand that. Not great, right? But that's fine. I understand that excuse. But not having a quarterback doesn't make up for the run game being nothing. Absolutely nothing. The run game's atrocious. Somebody asked a question, I believe it was on the camp with Jesse Temple and Zach Heilprin. I listened to it. They're fantastic. Somebody asked on the camp, they're like, do you believe that Melvin Gordon's biggest game is going to be more rushing yards than Wisconsin's leading rusher on the season this year? Which Melvin Gordon, he had that 8-yard game, 400. It was some of the four. I think it was 408, but either way. And Wisconsin right now, their leading rusher on the year is 286 on the season. Dillian Jones has got 286. That's bad. That's terrible. There's no fix in sight. Let's go with that. There's no fix in sight. I think the only way is to rip the Band-Aid off you get rid of him. You don't go for a slam dunk hire. You're not going for like a Leopold or the offensive coordinator from Oregon. I can't remember his name. I know he's in a lot of talks. You're not going for anybody crazy. If you fire Luke Fickell, you're going for you need to make people feel better. You're going for an in-state guy. You hope you can apologize to Jim Leonard. Let's see how good Chris McIntosh is at apologizing. You can maybe get Jim Leonard to come back. Otherwise, you're going for some WIAC coach or something like that you can just call up and say, hey, come into Madison, reset the culture, get this thing back up, and then try to establish something. You're not going out for another slam dunk hire, and I don't trust Chris McIntosh to make that decision. I don't trust – if they keep Luke Fickell around, I don't trust anybody in leadership in Madison to make a decision on coaching. Anybody. I don't know how you sit there as anybody involved in the athletic programs and watch this. I don't. Is this what spoiled feels like, Barry? That's what I have to ask. Is this what spoiled, rotten fans feel like, Barry? Because I'm going to be honest with you. If this is what it feels like to be spoiled, rotten, we stink. That's all I know. Wisconsin stinks right now. Now, maybe it turns around. Maybe they find a way to win a game. Maybe they run into a win somehow against, Washington's good. Washington's a decent team. Illinois is good. Indiana just not really whooped up on, but they beat Oregon at their place. You play Oregon, you play Ohio State yet. Minnesota might be the only winnable game left on the schedule. I don't even know if you win that game. So yeah, Badger football in shambles right now. That's where I'm at with that. So there's my therapy session, my rant session for you guys about Wisconsin football right now. We didn't get to the Brewers part of the therapy, but we're just going to hope that the Brewers somehow, by the next time we talk, the Brewers will be either in the World Series or have lost the series to the Dodgers, and we're either going to have a great time next Wednesday or a bad time. So we're going to see how it goes. We're going to see how that therapy session goes next week there. So we're going to come back here. Kyle's going to hop on. We have some NFL talk to get to, MLB playoffs, all the kind of stuff like that. We got that kind of stuff coming up, and then we're going to wrap up the show here after that. So we'll be back here, Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trades. We'll be back here. Welcome back into Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trades. I'm your host, Trades. We come back here on this Wednesday, and hey, this next segment, Kyle's stopping by. We got some NFL to talk about, MLB. We got all kinds of stuff to dive into. This next segment is brought to you by B&H Concrete Lifting. You can ditch the trip hazards without breaking the bank on new concrete and have it all leveled for less than half the cost of the replacement. Why get it changed when you can just fix what's there? Maybe you like your driveway. You're just like, it's a little bumpy. It's a little rough. I don't want to be shoveling snow and take one of the midsection. Call these guys. Call them. B&H Concrete Lifting. Get in on that schedule right now. Free estimate. That's all that matters. They have a complimentary estimate. There's nothing better. There's nothing better. Call them. B&H Concrete Lifting. I'm telling you right now, you might need them. You might need them. Somebody else might need them. Let them know about them. B&H Concrete Lifting. So Kyle is here tonight. Kyle, how we doing? Wednesday, MLB playoffs in full swing. The NFL, the Patriots are playing well. How we doing on this Wednesday?
No, I'm doing well. Like I said, it's a good time of the year, and it's good to see my Patriots are doing well. And then you got NBA season coming around on Tuesday, so I'm really excited.
That is super exciting. We have everything. Everything is going on right now. College basketball just dropped top 25. We talked about that earlier in the show. Just a whole slew of things to talk about in the sporting world. This is a good time of year. It's not like a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, where it was like, we're running out of things to talk about right now. Now it's, we got everything to dive into. So it's a great time of year. And it's a great time of year, but not for many. And we wanted to do that for our Mellow Yellow Minute tonight. So our Mellow Yellow Minute for the night is going to be the 13. Well, we're not going to do 13. We're going to do top 5 coldest cities in the United States. 13 is crazy. This list is the top 13. We're going to do the top 5 coldest cities in the U.S. This was done. It's on The Zebra is where the list is from March 18th of 2024. So as you guys know, Mellow Yellow Minute. We do it every single week. It's a trivia hour in honor of my grandpa. You love trivia. I love Mellow Yellow. We call it the Mellow Yellow Minute. So, Kyle, as always, are you ready for this trivia hour here? So, yes. We got the top 5, and these are our top 5. We have Williston, North Dakota. Williston. Yeah, it's like that. Grand Forks, North Dakota. Fargo, North Dakota. It seems like it's all North Dakota. Fairbanks, Alaska. and Aberdeen, South Dakota. So those are our 5. Those are in that top 5, Kyle. So if you had to guess, we can start. What do you want to start? Number 5, number 1?
Let's start at 5.
Number 5.
I'm gonna say Aberdeen, South Dakota.
Aberdeen, South Dakota. It was like it had to be Aberdeen, South Dakota for that one.
Okay, so 4, I will go with. Let's go Williamston.
It is not Williamston.
Okay.
It is not.
Is it Grand Forks?
It is not. It is Fargo. It is Fargo, North Dakota at 4.
I thought Fargo was like further north. Okay.
That's what I'm trying to figure out the map right now. I'm like, I figure you know which one is number 1. I mean, it's pretty obvious which one's number 1. So you just got to figure out 2 and 3, and you got this one in the bag here.
So I'll go Grand Forks 3.
It is not. It is Williamston 3.
And then
Williamston 3, Grand Forks 2.
I knew Fairbanks was the coldest.
It had to be Fairbanks, right? I was like, I know he knows what number 1 is, so I just figure we'll work. I'll just tell him what number 4 is. We can work from there. So if you guys got the answers to that one, make sure you guys at any point tonight, if you want to text in your answers to the Melio Minute next week, anything like that, make sure you're hitting us up 715-990-4914. That is 715-990-4914. You can let us know your questions, comments, anything like that, and get involved in the Melio Minute with your questions or your answers to the question there. So Kyle, let's start right where we left off last week, the NFL. Mm-hmm. Let's just start right in the NFL. We saw a lot of interesting finals. We have no undefeated teams left. And then we look at the AFC East. That's getting crazy out there. We got the NFC North that's getting a little crazy. So Kyle, I mean, let's just go. We're not going to go over the entirety of week 6, but were there any games that stood out to you? Any finals that stood out to you? Performances, anything like that?
Yeah, I think the Chargers-Dolphins game stood out to me because the Chargers were a team that were kind of reeling. They're dealing with some injuries up front on the offensive line. But I think they were able to kind of regroup, gather, and I think they can go on a little bit of a run of good play here. And they beat a Dolphins team that's reeling right now with their own issues with Mike McDaniel and Tua. So that game caught my eye because I was worried that the Chargers would lose that one and then they would really maybe tailspin further down. So I think that was a good game for them to get back on the right track. I think the Panthers game, the Panthers quietly are a 500 team, which I don't know how many people really thought they could be that when the season started. But when you watch that team, and look, the Cowboys defensively have their own issues with no Micah, and the defense was kind of struggling last year. But the Panthers with Rico Dowdle, they're running the ball really well right now, which takes obviously pressure off of Bryce Young. And because of that, Bryce Young is playing better. So the Panthers are a team, not necessarily to watch for like a playoff spot, but are a team that could spoil some teams' plans later in the season because I think they are starting to play a little bit better. Then another one, probably looking Monday night, Falcons and the Bills. Bills now are a team that are reeling heading into their bye, and it's probably coming at the perfect time for them. They lost an emotional one to the Patriots with the Stephon Diggs return. People were looking at the Falcons game as a chance for them to get back to what they were doing earlier in the season, but now they're reeling, and Sean McDermott says they're going to use the bye to kind of reset and try to figure out what they were doing right early and get back to that. James Cook has been slowed down for a couple of weeks. That's really hurt them, and that's affecting Josh Allen in the passing game. So those are probably like the top 3 games that really caught my attention.
Yeah, there was a lot of good games, a lot of good finals, and a lot of interesting finals. Like the Giants over the Eagles, that Thursday night game, that was crazy to see there. The Steelers putting up 23 against the Browns defense, that one caught my eye a little bit. See Rodgers, the way that Rodgers played in that game, not bad at all. Yeah, I would agree the Panthers over the Cowboys. The Cowboys, I was really thought the Cowboys were like turning a corner with something there, and then it just went all backwards on them. Outside of that, I mean, there was the Chiefs over the Lions. That's the big one, right? The Chiefs over the Lions. The Chiefs back on their heels, and then all of a sudden they just go and pull one off. The Bears get a little lucky. Jay Daniels turnover, and well, we see what happens there. 25-24, the final there against the Commanders. So we saw that one there. Let's get into our power rankings for the week. We always do the power rankings here every single week. So if you had to look right now in the American League, baseball, football, in the AFC right now, who are you looking at? Who are you seeing? Who's in your top 5 right now in the AFC?
The AFC was pretty tough. I put the Bills at 5.
Okay.
They've dropped a little bit. I just don't like the past couple of games. Defensively, they're giving up big plays. Offensively, they're struggling to find a rhythm, especially against the Falcons. Josh Allen, body language is a little off. So I think they'll have a chance to get right after the bye. But right now, I have them as number 5. 4, I have the Chiefs. So 2 times in 3 weeks, they beat up on the Ravens. They beat up on the Lions, which obviously the Lions one is more impressive to me. But they're getting Rashee Rice back next week. So I feel like that's going to be that missing piece of the offense that really helps that offense get going once again. So I have them at 4. I put the Patriots at 3. I just think defensively they're playing well, especially against the run. Drake May has become like a big play quarterback. He loves throwing the ball downfield, which is something that haven't seen in a while in New England. And they have a game against Tennessee coming up. Mike Vrabel, old stomping grounds. So I'm expecting them to get a win there. 2, I put the Chargers. The Chargers were, teetering on being outside of my 5. I think they were outside of my 5 last week. I feel like they showed a lot of, heart and everything coming back against the Dolphins. Yeah, the Dolphins aren't good, but I think it's a win that the Chargers really needed. And Vidal, the running back, had a good game. So I had them at 2. And 1, you got to put the Colts. They just keep winning. Daniel Jones is playing like an MVP candidate quarterback. Jonathan Taylor is the leading rusher in the league. Their defense is pretty good, so they have all the makings to be a team with staying power. So I have them 1 right now in the AFC.
If I would have told you that would be your power rankings when this season started, what would you have told me?
I mean, a couple of those teams, maybe. The Colts, I thought the Colts were going to
with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones. That's the crazy part. Like, I don't think you could have told anybody this is what it's going to look like right now. The Patriots are going to be 4-2 with the Bills. You're going to see Pittsburgh at 4-1, and the rest of that division stinks. And then, well, you can't help injuries. But, I mean, if I would have told you that these were going to be what was going on, you'd be like, no way. No way at all. So, yeah, I mean, it's been – I figured as much when you said it. You're like, this is a tough one. I'm like, yeah, I could see the AFC being a pretty tough one to pick right now. The NFC is kind of tough right now.
It is.
So let's flip over in the NFC right now. Give me your top 5 NFC teams right now.
5, I have the Eagles, and they are a shaky 5 right now. They, like the Bills, just have not looked right the past couple of weeks. It'll be interesting to see what they do. They look like a team that's missing something, but I think they're still a very good team, and they'll figure it out eventually. 4, I have the Lions. Even despite the loss of the Chiefs, I still really like what the Lions can do. I think Dan Campbell is the right type of guy to get them back focused after that loss. 3, I have the Packers. Packers are leading the NFC North. NFC North is proving to be a pretty good division. And the Packers they're offensively have a lot of weapons. Jacobs ran for, I think, 100+ yards this past week. So if they consistently get that out of him, that makes that offense just much more dangerous. And then defensively, we know they have pieces on that side of the ball as well. 2, I have the Seahawks. Sam Darnold quietly having an MVP type candidate season, and the Seahawks defensively play well. And JSN has emerged as a legit number 1 wide receiver. And then number 1, I have the Bucks. The Bucks, 5-1, best record in the NFC. Baker Mayfield is probably the leading MVP candidate right now. 12 touchdowns, I believe only 1 interception. He has 4 game-winning drives already this season. Like, he is just doing it all right now. So the Bucs are the best team in the NFC for me right now.
They play a lot of games close. That's if the only thing that would make me nervous, I guess, with the Buccaneers would be they play games close. But then you remember, oh yeah, they also are without a lot of their weapons yet. So when they get them back, but then you could say the same thing with Packers too, right? We haven't seen Christian Watson, Marshawn Lloyd hasn't been back. You're still missing a guy like Jaden Reed. He's got to get back to this, and healthy. And Micah Parsons still has not been like Micah Parsons. So I mean, there's a lot of things with the Packers even right now where you can look at them and say, well, they're not healthy. What's going to happen when they are? The Eagles are the biggest mess in the world. They have wide receivers who don't want to play for them because they don't like the offense that they're running. They have a quarterback who, I mean, bless his heart, I love the guy, but I don't feel it. I don't feel it half the time with them. And they have a banged up offensive line. The defense is not as good as what it was last season. That defense definitely took a step back. The Lions, they're kind of in the same boat. They kind of took that step back. So the NFC, like we're talking AFC, it's wide open. It is wide open right now for anybody to take. So I am right there with you right now. It is crazy what we've been seeing. So let's look. We got to do real fast our fantasy players to look out for. If they're available, Kyle says you got to pick these guys up. Kyle, what do you got for me? The fantasy players to be on the lookout for.
So if you need a quarterback, Bryce Young. Oh. He's available in 80% of ESPN leagues. He's coming off of a 3-touchdown performance against the Cowboys, and he faces a Jets defense this week that is in disarray and is really struggling under Aaron Glenn's leadership and everything. So expect for Bryce Young to have another good game for you if you need a quarterback. If you need a flex, we just talked about the Bucs. They are missing a lot of guys at wide receiver. Tez Johnson had 112 yards last week and a touchdown. He's a speed. He's a burner. He's a deep threat, and we know Baker loves throwing the ball deep. They face a Lions team, so you might be a little bit weary, but you can throw the ball a little bit on the Lions. I think the Bucs will do it, so look for Tez Johnson. He's available basically in every league. He's available in like 99% of ESPN leagues, so he's the guy you can pick up if you need a flex option. And if you need a defense, take the Chiefs. They gave up 17 points to a Lions team that was kind of humming efficiently on offense. They face a Raiders team that offensively is a bit of a mess, especially at the quarterback position. So they're a defense if you need one, and they're available in 86% of ESPN leagues.
Okay. I like that one there. I like the Bryce Young. That was a bold one right there. I like the Bryce Young. I don't know if many guys would say Bryce Young, so I like that. I like that answer right there. That's a good one. I love it. Good stuff there from Kyle. Power rankings, everything in between. If you guys have missed any portion of the show, you guys are maybe just tuning in, you missed any of the fantasy talk or the power rankings, anything like that, check us out next day. Wisconsin Sports on the Go Trade. You can find it there. So, Kyle, quick, before I got to let you go, let's check MLB playoffs. Anything that surprised you so far? I mean, I don't want to talk too much about what's going on with the Brewers right now, but I guess, Kyle, has anything surprised you right now in the MLB postseason to where we are right now?
I mean, maybe how we kind of got here. Look, I know the NL side probably out of the conversation, but like American League, I don't know. It's almost like you feel like maybe the Mariners could be a team of destiny, but then it's like the Blue Jays, it'd be good for Vladdy Jr. to get one. You know, he re-signed there for 3 years, I believe, to show some loyalty to the Blue Jays. So that series has really got me interested. You know, as a Red Sox fan, as always, anybody but the Yankees. So I'm glad they're not a part of this equation. But I'm kind of hoping that series goes the distance because I've had a lot of fun watching it. Dodgers, Brewers, I think what we're noticing is the experience of the Dodgers is shining through. They've been here. They kind of know how to manage the emotions, and I think the Brewers have gotten a little bit hyped up and have gotten out of their game. Yep. Still a long series, so they can regain that. And the odd thing is, they might be able to do it on the road. I think just being at home, they're just so amped up to perform for the home crowd. They might actually need some road cooking to get it back together. So I wouldn't count them out yet, but the Dodgers are a tough group to come back on.
I'm right there with you. The biggest problem is your stars aren't aligning right now. You have stars in the Dodgers, and the stars are showing why they're the stars. I mean, Ohtani hasn't even been, and knock on wood, right? He hasn't been huge in this series yet, but it's been Freeman. It's been those guys, Teoscar Hernandez. It's been the pitching. It's been Snell. It's been Yamamoto. It's been those guys stepping up and being the guys that you need them to be if you're the Dodgers, and just coming up with postseason moments, right? When you watch at bats, you're like, this guy, he needs to have a moment right now. And you miss those moments right now with the Brewers team. And I think they're trying, like you're saying, like I'm kind of getting at, is they're trying to rely too heavily on the young guys to do it, when there's one guy who I yelled about earlier on in the show here that has not been able to help the cause at all. And I think that needs to be addressed by the manager pretty darn soon here, because when there's no emotion, no anything like that, the fight isn't there. And I can see that. I can see where you get a little high on the emotions. You try to do too much. You get yourself in trouble. I can definitely see that one there. So Kyle, thank you as always for stopping by tonight. Let the people know where to find you out there across social media.
Yeah, if you look up on YouTube or Facebook, Chomping at the Bit, easiest way to find me. I usually link to all my other socials through those two sites. So that's the best way to find me.
You got to check them out. Chomping at the Bit podcast. We got all kinds of stuff happening right now. NBA's coming back. MLB playoffs is happening. NFL's going on. He's covering all of it. And that's the crazy part. He does it all. This guy's crazy. He's covering it all for you guys all the time. Chomping at the Bit podcast. Find him out there. Thank you, Kyle, as always, for stopping by. We'll be back here after the quick commercial break. We're going to wrap it up for the day. Final thoughts, everything. We'll be back here. Welcome back into Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage, as we wrap it up here on this Wednesday. And hey, this next segment, we'll wrap it up here for the day. This next segment is brought to you by Peggy Sue down there at Century 21 Gold Key Realty. She knows the area and the market, whether you're looking to buy or sell residential or commercial. Peggy Sue has the knowledge and experience to deliver results. She is awesome. Make sure you guys check her out across Facebook. You can also call her there, 715-305-4345. So we're wrapping up here on this Wednesday. The Brewers will have a day off tonight. They're going to come back tomorrow, take on the Dodgers in game 3 of that series. We know Tyler Glass now is going to go for the Dodgers. The Brewers have been doing this all postseason. We have no idea who's going to pitch for the Brewers. I would assume it's going to be some kind of combination of Quintana, Mizorowski. At this point here, I'm throwing Miz. You got to get back in the series. Somehow you might as well throw the gas. You throw Miz. If it fails, you got Quintana to try and salvage a game 4 with a veteran. That's kind of where I'm at right now. You got to throw Miz and see what happens, because that's where I'm at. It's Mizorowski for me in game 3, roll him game 4 and see what Quintana has. Also, I was at the break, I saw another thing about Miles Turner, and I just want to say, I love to see Miles Turner is just loving Wisconsin, because he was at a pumpkin patch. It looks like an apple orchard there. Over the weekend, he was down at American Family Field. He's been to a Packer. He's been all over the place. So it's awesome to see Miles Turner getting around there in Wisconsin, just loving life in Wisconsin. So love to see that there. Miles Turner from the Bucks. So with that, this has been Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trades. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night and week. But until I talk to you guys again next Wednesday, see ya.